the number one question they ask me isn't, hey, tell me about MrBeast, or it's, hey, what have you bought with the money? It's, how's Lucas? Have you found a treatment? Yeah. And I get goosebumps thinking about it. There is beauty in these challenges. Like, there is blessings in these challenges. Perhaps this is the life that Lucas's soul chose, and there's a reason for it. Again, I don't wish CTD on anybody, but if there's ever a time to have the focus on creatine, it's now.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of My Hero 360, the storytelling platform that features incredible individuals who are using their voice and experience to advance the awareness and advocacy for different health conditions. My name is Carrie Fitzgerald, and today I am joined by Jeff Allen, or Player 831, as some of you may know him from the hit Amazon Prime video show, Beast Games. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today.
So glad to be here, Carrie. This is awesome.
So, as I mentioned, you were a contestant on Beast Games. You managed to beat out 999 other individuals on the show for the top prize, $10 million, the largest cash prize in entertainment history. I know you mentioned on the show that your older son, Jack, is a MrBeast enthusiast, and he kind of made you familiar of the game and got you to kind of think about trying out for the show. So what made you have the interest and want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, first, thanks for having me on. And you're right, Jack, my oldest son, introduced me to MrBeast a couple years ago, and I've heard of him obviously, and saw him on some podcasts, but never watched his main channel on YouTube until my son. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool stuff. Mm-hmm. And then it was like earlier in 2024 where an ad that said MrBeast Beast Games. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I clicked on the link and it said the largest game show ever, largest cash prize ever. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I've never applied for a game show. I've never done anything like this. And so I'm like, I can kind of be cool dad to Jack, but also the deeper meaning was, can I go on and have a platform to tell Lucas's story, his little brother who's got a rare disease. And it was kind of too good to be true, but this is one of these things where I had other stuff going on. So I set alarms in my phone, put it on my whiteboard for the final day to submit the application. And I did. But I think one thing that's crazy is, like you mentioned, I beat out 999 others. It actually started before that with 2,000. Yep. And, it happened just about a year ago, like right this moment. And I think back and it's a miracle. It's like a miracle that it all played out the way it did. But yeah, much thanks to Jack and to Lucas for the inspiration. And
so, like you mentioned on the show, you talk about how your goal was to use this platform and potentially the money, if you went on to win, to really advance the awareness of this condition, this very rare genetic condition that your son has, creatine transporter deficiency, to advance the awareness and also to help with research and development for a potential treatment. So can you talk a little bit more about how you and your wife, your family, came to learn that your son had this condition and what your thoughts were about all of that?
Yeah, we had the kind of traditional, married, you got 2 kids, like life is good. Mm-hmm. And with Lucas, our second son, he's 20 months away from his older brother. We had 2 kids kind of under the age of 2, and it was crazy. Mm-hmm. And it was, a lot of people have gone through it. But once he kind of got to 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, we noticed he was missing milestones. Mm-hmm. And he just seemed off. He wasn't as verbal, crying or babbling, wasn't being able to sit up. He would fall over, kind of off sitting. And we said, something's going on. Mm-hmm. So we started going through to our pediatrician, then to a specialist, and we hooked him up to essentially every machine. But it took us 20 months to finally figure out that he had creatine transporter deficiency. And it was a hard year and a half. Mm-hmm. I'm the eternal optimist. Hey, everything's okay. He's just behind. No big deal. He'll catch up. And my wife, God bless her, is very pragmatic and just starting to think, okay, what if not? Like, what do we need to do to try to help him? Mm-hmm. Which is probably why we're together. I think we're a good pair. But once we got the diagnosis, it was bittersweet because we have the answer, but there's no solution. Like, there's no cure, there's no therapy, there's no treatment. And we were kind of at an impasse. We didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little bit more about the condition, just for people who are not aware of it, because it is rare? What are some kind of hallmarks of getting that diagnosis?
Yeah, so he presents with some unique conditions. First, there's like autistic-like behaviors. Two, he's hypotonal, so you're not very strong. You're falling over. Kids also kind of present with seizures. Fortunately, Lucas does not. And just cognitively and developmentally delayed. And once he presented with these, like, we didn't know, like, we did like 3 different hearing tests to see, maybe is he deaf? Can he not understand us? Is he having trouble seeing? And so we had no clue. But the hallmarks of this is someone who's significantly cognitively and developmentally delayed, and just never seems to catch up.
So what was your reaction to kind of, as you started to understand this condition, how did you personally, as a parent, as a father, deal with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think especially as a father, like a lot of fathers with rare disease kids just white knuckle it and, figure, hey, we're going to figure it out, and don't chat about it much with people. I remember I had a couple friends who would go out of their way to like ask me how I was doing. And I remember like these conversations specifically, and it was like the outlet that I needed to be able to say, I don't know what to do. Like it gave me the space to be vulnerable. And as a father, like, you want to lead, you want to be the strong kind of foundation. But I think it's important to kind of really express how you're feeling. So for me, it was trying to be there for my family, trying to help find solutions for Lucas, but also like kind of surrendering to, this is the life that we have. And to get deeper, perhaps this is the life that Lucas's soul chose, and there's a reason for it. I don't really subscribe to everything happens for a reason, but I subscribe to there's a reason in everything that happens. And so for me, I went on this kind of journey to figure out what is the purpose that this is going on with our family. And man, Lucas has taught me so much. So many blessings have come through this. It doesn't mean life's easy. It doesn't mean it doesn't have challenges, but I've been able to see the beauty in the bumps and ultimately kind of find the blessings in all the challenges that happens with a kid with rare disease.
Yeah. And earlier you brought up an interesting point of, I imagine it can feel a little isolating, right? When you learn about this, you don't know perhaps other people who are going through something like this. So what helped you? What was most impactful to you and your family? Was it people asking how you're doing? How can other people help families or friends who are going through something?
Yeah, I remember I went on Twitter at the time, and I was like searching. I'm like, there's got to be a cure. Someone's got to know something. And I found some tweets on creatine transport deficiency, and I might have replied it, and then somebody direct messaged me. Her name is Laura. She's a mom of a son named Rohan, and said, hey, are you familiar with the Association for Creatine Deficiencies? I would love to introduce you. And that's how I got introduced to the nonprofit ACD, which I'm now the vice chair on. And just her reaching out changed everything for me. And I mean, I tell her almost every time I see her, connect with her, like, thank you so much for reaching out. So I think, like, if you are a parent with a rare disease, like, reaching out to others who are kind of early in the journey, but also, like, reaching out to other people in your community, like dad to dad, how are you doing? Is there anything you want to talk about? Like, what's been the latest challenge? What's been the latest kind of blessing? I think just being there for others, because everybody processes this differently.
Yeah.
And Laura's outreach to me from the onset changed everything for my family and changed everything for kind of how I was going to approach this disease for my family.
And, other people that we speak to on the My Hero 360 platform, many of them mention that finding a patient or advocacy group similar to the one you just mentioned is a game changer for them. It provides community, it provides better understanding, education. And so you mentioned the Association for Creatine Deficiencies. They have an incredible goal right now. They are trying to raise $5 million this year in 2025. Can you talk about some of their goals and as well as yours for the future of CTD research and treatment?
Yeah, early on is I want to find a solution for my son. Like, and obviously that is the highest good. Like, I want to help Lucas. But once I started understanding this condition and this disease, I realized it's bigger than Lucas. You know, it's for children who have not even been born yet. Like, how do we eradicate this disease or this condition? And so when we look at CTD, we got to go, okay, what can we do to get more creatine to the brain today? But also longer term, how can we get gene therapy to help kids or to even help mothers who are carriers? This is an X-linked disease. So mothers are traditionally the carriers of this condition. My wife's not a carrier. Lucas had spontaneous, so is de novo.
Oh, well.
So it's helping with Lucas, but also zooming out and kind of going, how do we help the greater population of kids with CTD? And ACD is looking at all these things. So we're looking at how do we repurpose drugs? How do we kind of create new small molecules? Again, we're not doing it. We're helping fund and help kind of hold researchers accountable. And then we have some amazing people doing gene therapy, which is like, it's just, that stuff is so over my head. But I think this is, if there's ever a great time to have a child with CTD, it's now. You know, one, people all across the world have heard of CTD because of Beast Games, which is great. With AI, the science and technology is starting to catch up. And also, creatine is getting so hot in just, not just bodybuilder or athlete world, but just normal people are saying, hey, you should take this for overall health. Like I saw a study that came out yesterday about pregnant women taking 5 grams a day is great for their stamina. So it's like, again, I don't wish CTD on anybody, but if there's ever a time to have the focus on creatine, it's now.
Yeah. And your platform, you know, the Beast Games platform is, like you said, just expanding the reach and knowledge on this. And so
it's, I mean, I am forever indebted to Jimmy, MrBeast, and the Beast team. Like it was an adventure of a lifetime. It was so fun, but it was like, this platform to turn my fight into a kind of a global call to action is like something I am forever grateful for.
And so let's talk a little bit more about Beast Games. What would you say has been the most rewarding experience since the show ended?
I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know, and kind of I remember talking to someone at MrBeast like, yep, this could be huge or it could not be. Right? You just have to wait and see. But the most rewarding is, well, perfect strangers will come up and talk to me, and mostly children. And I'd say the number one question they ask me isn't, hey, tell me about MrBeast, or it's, hey, what have you bought with the money? It's, how's Lucas? Have you found a treatment? And I get goosebumps thinking about it. Because like, it's just neat to see young children practice the ultimate precept of loving your neighbor. They don't know Lucas from Adam, and they're expressing kind of compassion for him. And for me, it's like, like, that is the most rewarding thing I've felt. So quantitatively, yes, 10 million, awesome. I have a platform that I can now share his story, sweet. But seeing people's hearts kind of transform is like the ultimate gift.
Yeah. And I imagine the money helps you feel some sort of security for Lucas's future.
Undoubtedly. It's one of these things where my wife and I, since Lucas got diagnosed, we're like, we want to make sure we can do everything we can so Jack doesn't have to care for Lucas. That he chooses to help him out. But like, we don't want to put the burden on him. So obviously winning $10 million allows us to create the structures in place to make sure Lucas is cared for as he ages. And Jack gets to be his brother, which is huge.
And so the show is mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, it touches on all of that, right?
It's crazy, isn't it? It's so crazy.
And you went into this with your mission, with your goal, right, for your son, but it's a long time. You're away from your family. How did you keep that resolve to keep going, keep fighting with this kind of end game in mind?
The games you just have kind of peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows, and leaning on people, like building true relationships, genuine relationships with people is what helped. And then, like, I remember it was in episode 3 in the cubes, like that was probably the lowest I was psychologically. I was just in not a good spot. And getting through that, I kind of go, okay, all right, like I need to get it together. I'm here. I've already been away from home long enough. Like I have to keep going. And so I just kind of, I wanted to make Jack proud. And I realized the more kind of episodes I go on, the less people there are, the more cameras get in front of my face. Oh, I can actually tell Lucas's story. And so once I started talking to cameras and they're like, tell me about yourself, tell me about your family. I'm like, it's happening. Like, so my goal was to keep going as far as I could to truly tell Lucas's story. And then once I got in kind of the top 20, I realized, I got a shot at winning this thing.
Why were the cubes so difficult for you?
Well, yeah, I was there with kind of one of my really good friends, Chris, and we were there with someone else from kind of our alliance, and one of the persons, the other gal from our alliance, didn't want to play the game. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to play the game? Like, how can you not play a game? Like, you're really going to force Chris and I to choose between us?
Yeah.
And I think I played the game differently than other people. Like, I was looking for what can I get of value on the phone that would cause me to eliminate myself. I asked for a phone call with Elon Musk because I was trying to go between Tesla, which is an energy company, and Neuralink, the brain. Like, can he figure out how to get creatine to the brain?
Yeah.
Again, he's running like 5 companies. He's super busy.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Still open for the phone call, Elon.
There you go. Yeah.
And I felt like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing here? I haven't seen my family in 2 weeks. Like, what? Like, I'm a silver-haired guy, like, in this world of younger 20s and 30-year-olds. Like, what am I doing here? I just started questioning everything.
Yeah.
So once I got through that, I was kind of like, okay, Jeff, get it together. Power through. Like, time to man up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I was able to use that kind of valley of psychological despair and kind of use it to power me till at least episode 8.
Yeah. That's awesome. How did your family feel when you won? I know we saw them on the show and they were elated. What did they say afterwards?
So, like, I mean, like a lot of the stuff that you might not know, and I don't even know if I've told the story, but in episode 8, my family, Jack and Jen, come to visit, and it was like one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
That was episode 8. The next night we filmed episode 9. The next night we filmed episode 10. So after they filmed episode 8, they're like, hey, you can go home, Jack and Jen, or you can stay, and if your loved one gets eliminated, you fly home with them, or if they make it all the way, you can be here for it. And Jack and Jen are like, of course, like, let me stay.
Wow.
So they stayed. I had no clue that they were still there. And so they got called in the middle of the night. Like, we usually film at night. They got called at 2:45 in the morning, said, hey,
oh my gosh,
we're going to send a driver to pick you up, take you to the studio. And they get into the studio, and someone comes in and goes, okay, 2 things are going to happen. He's still in the game. We're either going to bring him into you because he got eliminated, or we're going to bring you out to him because he won.
Okay.
This is so cool to think about. And obviously I got the first briefcase.
Yes.
So, which is nuts. They heard these cannons, they heard confetti, and they thought that the last challenge was just starting. And then someone from the Beast team comes into the room and goes, you ready to come with me? Oh. And so I love it. It makes me emotional. So they come out, and that's when they discovered I won, and that's when I discovered that they were still here. And it was a super special moment. I remember Jen kind of going, we're going to find a cure for Lucas.
Yep.
And Jack going, how are we going to get all this money home? It was awesome.
So you had no idea they were still there?
No.
Wow.
Zero clue.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, like, I was so ready, like, in my mind, like, I'm going to call my wife. I'm going to tell her, hey, I got some bad news. I didn't win $5 million.
Yeah.
I won 10. But she, they saw the 2 pyramids. And it was, they figured it out on their own.
Wow. Now, you had to keep this a secret.
I did. For 2 reasons. Obviously, I had an NDA. And, and it's one of these things where, okay, it's $10 million. Not worth violating the NDA. And 2, I remember the producer, Sean, of the show, told us, like, hey, everything you went through, the ups and downs, the experience, like, believe it or not, people who watched at home will feel similar things. Like, do not rob that from people, especially your loved ones.
Yeah. So
I just put my family on kind of a wild goose chase. Like, hey, I think I went far enough to tell Lucas's story. I'm not sure. And then as we got closer to the end, I'm like, yeah, like, and I've seen them a ton of times. Like, I went on vacation. Like, I did not lead on that we won it all. Nothing changed in my life. So it was super neat that they got to experience it firsthand.
Yeah, that's awesome. And your 8-year-old kept the secret,
which is crazy.
I would have been bursting at the seams at 8. So how did that?
That's like the biggest like challenge of them all. It was twofold. Like, first in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, because I would talk to them about, hey, it's super important that we don't share this. Like, And then I found out like a little bit later, my wife showed me the NDA. Like, hey, here's the NDA, and she exaggerated a little bit. Not only do you lose this money, we have to pay $1 million. So it was a little bit of carrot and stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, even when the episodes came on, like he didn't tell his friends, like, hey, I was in the city. I've been here. I met MrBeast. He's just he's a sweet little righteous kid who wants to do good.
That's amazing.
I'm proud of him.
That's amazing. Very responsible.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
I know. He's teaching me more.
So we've been talking a lot about your son. I want to ask, how has your son, both of your sons, but in particular Lucas, how has he changed your life and perspective on things?
You know, I kind of shared it before. Like, you know, there's a reason behind everything, and I think he has changed it tremendously. He's the one who suffers with this condition, but he's the one who's probably the most happy and joyful. He, you know, doesn't complain about what happened yesterday. He's not worried about what's going to go on tomorrow. Like, he's truly in the present moment. So he's, you know, and I got to remind myself a lot, but like he just encourages me to be here and be present. Also, this was a early practitioner kind of shared with us, like, hey, like, I know you want to help Lucas, but there comes a point in time where you have to remind yourself, you're not just fixing him, you need to connect with him. So he just allowed me to kind of be more present and understand that there's challenges that come up, but there is beauty in these challenges. Like, there is blessings in these challenges. But the crazy thing is, it's up to me to either decide, is it a blessing or a curse?
Yeah.
So he's helped me gain tremendous perspective. And I think from a family, you know, we're not just trying to kind of go, hey, can we upgrade our house?
Yeah.
Can we get a promotion? Or what's the next vacation? We realize that our life is bigger than us. So, I mean, our life is really centered around Lucas, and there can be a ton of fulfillment in having your life not be about yourself.
Yeah. And he's very lucky to have you and your wife and his brother and doing, you know, all of this for him. You know, it's incredible. And to that point, after Beast Games, you recently did another challenge, Ruck for Rare. You walked 365 miles in 18 days, carrying the weight of your son, Lucas. What was that like? Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, it was a challenge that my friend from the games, Jeremy, number 991, we thought about this actually when we were on the island in Panama in episode 5. So this is even before I won.
Wow.
Like, hey, like, how do we spread the word more about his condition? And, you know, I kind of like agree to stuff before I've really thought it through. I'm like, oh, yeah, sounds good. And I'm like, okay, I'm not an endurance athlete. Like, I don't know if I can do this. But it was one of these kind of great reminders. It's like, sign up, you'll figure it out. So we walked from the desert on the Nevada-California border, Death Valley, all the way to Ventura to the ocean, rucking the weight of Lucas, and it was awesome. I had no clue. I mean, I tried, you can ask Jeremy, I tried to weasel my way out a couple times, like, maybe we should delay it. I don't know if this is the right time. But I'm so glad it went the way it did. We raised some money to fund research too. But more importantly, the outpouring of support from people all over the world who want to help and want to support was just overwhelming. And that was just season 1 of Ruck for Rare. We're definitely going to do a season 2, and so you got to stay tuned for that.
Amazing.
Yes.
That's awesome. And we've talked a lot about the Association for Creatine Deficiencies. Where can people learn more, donate, help in any way that they can? Yeah,
we have some huge goals, and, you know, believe it or not, $10 million is just a drop in the bucket to try to cure rare disease.
Yeah.
Like, we probably need closer to 40 to 50 to have a clearer pathway. You can go to creatineinfo.org. You can donate there and learn a ton more. But even, like, if you have any questions, like, you can DM me. The best way to catch me is on Instagram at legacy.a31. And you can follow my journey too on YouTube at legacy831official.
Awesome. Jeff, we like to conclude our My Hero 360 interviews by asking the same question of every hero. What would you tell your younger self knowing what you know now? Yeah, just go for it. Go for it, and also understand that, like, do it with other people. I think true change comes from choice, but it kind of like lasting change comes through connection. And zero chance I would have won Beast Games without the people around me and the people who helped. And there's kind of zero chance that I would have been able to kind of be as good of a, you know, and I'm trying to be better,
a good father of a rare disease son without people's support. So I think connect with others, be outward focused, but take the chance and go for it.
Yeah. And you're doing that. So thank you, Jeff. This is amazing. You're such a positive light for other families, caregivers who are going through something similar. So we really appreciate you taking the time with My here at 360 today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
Thanks.